Hello and welcome back to this final installment on my HR2510 Franken build. It's been a while since my last video I did on this, so figure I would do an update. Let's get started. If you recall, in part one of this, I had 3 HR2510s, all broken, and my goal was to build one that works out of the 3. And there were some bumps along the road, but finally I've got to a state where this radio now receives 100% and transmits 100% as well too. So let me give you the details on how I finally got here. I'm just about halfway through the electrolytic replacements, and as I just started getting into the replacement, I found that this particular one, this is a 470, this was shorted, and that was basically, I believe, causing my problem with the low output on the transmit. Although, at the same time, I discovered a little awkward here trying to do that with one hand, that this corner of the board from here to there was cracked, and a lot of these traces here were cracked as well too. This particular wire was installed previously to fix this trace. This is something I didn't notice before. So I bridged up these broken traces. Of course, that I thought they were broken, but the previous tech who put in this wire did some bridging there as well too. I thought he did a good enough job, but maybe not, as I went in and did a little bit better job. And then also down here, it appeared to be a little cracked as well too, so I made that a little bit better. So between getting those electrolytics replaced and that, this guy is working as it should. Other notes to point out, I put a couple heat sinks on these regulators, glued them on there with thermal glue, so that'll definitely help in the dissipation of heat. I did have a lot of epoxy on this PLL board, and I did remove as much as I thought I did, but I may have to go in there and take this component out. These electrolytics still have to be replaced. So I might have to do a little bit more glue removal. On the topic of electrolytics, you know, the blue ones are Rubicon and the silver ones are grayish. I'm not sure the manufacturer, Tech or YEC. Quality wise, they do not compare to the Rubicons. The Rubicons appear to have, you know, they're still pretty close to spec, but the gray ones, not so. In fact, that gray one there, this is 47, and this is 47. These were right next to each other. This Rubicon still was in pretty good shape. It was, 44, but this gray one was definitely going downhill. ESR was double. It was down in the 30s. So why manufacturer would do something like that? I shake my head. These were right next to each other, and they decided to go with different manufacturers. One is good, and one is not so. Like I say, I'm shaking my head on that one. So, yeah, I did the best I could removing the epoxy there in this section. So, still work to be done. And there's definitely a lot of mods on this radio I'll have to definitely research. Find out which ones are good and which ones are bad. I did put in that LED, and just as a final note, I've got this LED light bar with 3. I don't like the single LED, it's just not good enough. What I plan on doing is somehow utilizing this light bar within that housing in some way. That way I'll get some better lighting on that LCD panel. So there we have it. Fully operational Frankenbuild 2510. I'm happy. So we can close this chapter. Thanks for following along. See ya.